The date is the 6th of November 2002. Doing this session.
Not for very long.
That's true. So it's about 11:15 approximately p.m. We say that just for the record because you never know. When I cast the charts, sometimes we cast charts on sessions, and very interesting to see that. So, Ona ka hala me ka le kua. He hala le hua no I ana ka no oi. O ka uno I am no ana oi nei. Elia nei hoi e me kimi kai. Ahiki mai. No ku. Ahiki pu no. Me ke aloha. Aloha e. Aloha e. Aloha e, ana ona I ka hala mai ka le hua. He hala le koe no I na kana oi. O ka uno I na ona oi nei. Eli a nei hoi. Ahiki mai. Ahiki mai no oku. Ahiki puno me ke aloha. Aloha e. Aloha e. Aloha e, ona I ka hele me le hua. He hala le hua no I na ka uno oi. O ka uno I ona na ona oi nei. Elia nei hoi I hiki mai. A hiki mai no oku. A hiki puno me ki aloha. Aloha e. Aloha e. Aloha e. Mahalo ke akua. Ano ai I aloha kakahi aka. E hea oi, wakai. Alo e na amakua. Let the ancestors then now speak. Let those who have preceded us on this mighty path, those who have overseen all things that have happened upon this aina, let them now be here. E pele, e hiiaka, e laka, e poliahu, e lono e kana loa, e ku, e ku, e ku, e pehe hoi, e hiki mai. Aloha. Aloha oi kanaka. E wahine. What was it like to be a Hawaiian and to think like a Hawaiian in this place, this aina? It was to not think of anywhere else. This was it. This is the place we all wanted to be. Never too far from the or the Pawewe. We were happy here. Everything is okay. Makai. And then came the new change. No, it cannot be any more Ku'aina. Because now you had to know another language. That is a lot. Tonight you have spoken of language. You know something of how it is the way of the heart, the soul. Aloha. Naka ia no olelo. Ekiamako. It's how you speak, it's how you think, how you are. So we had to now learn another language. Makai. But with it came a way of thinking that we were not accustomed to. But that is for another time. Let us speak about what it was like before that time. That is it. I would awake in the morning, usually before the sun had completely become visible, to, Oli Kahia, to chant up the sun. And this we would do. You had to keep chanting, till it came. Sometimes the clouds would come, keep chanting. Then, goodness. What was my experience? This is what I'm to relate to you. Well, to me it was like every day, once the light hit something, I had to notice it, And I did. Now, later I thought, when I was doing this, a Halimakua would come and say, "What are you looking at?" I would say, Aina, looking at what the sun is doing. But he didn't understand this, and it would seem so foolish to him, I was wasting time, no doubt. A time sense we did not have. Didn't have any sense of, hours going by. It was just the light, was very strong with us. We see the light, and where there was the light is where we went. This is what we were drawn by. Many of us would not enter the ocean, unless we could see the light of the sun going into it, otherwise we didn't go. We were not as amphibious as they thought. We went where the light was. And as we'd look at each other and meet each other, we would, how we greet Rihoni, we would be looking for the light in each person. And they called us primitive for this. And it is very primitive, very primitive. But you think about, what is that word? It comes from one, the first, the primer, the primero, first one. And this is where we wanted to be. That's the trouble, too many divisions make for a divided mind and a divided heart and aloha. It cannot come as one, for you are thinking of so many things. This they introduced, and we were faulted for not being able to keep up. Maybe we didn't want to. That's really it. Maybe we didn't want to. Simple thoughts. But that is all I can give. I am always simple as I can be. That is how I am. It was good enough. It has kept me in this wonderful paradise that I still enjoy hour to hour, if I'm to speak of hours, but more like light unto light. This is simply my thoughts on the matter. They called me here to speak to you, so I have spoken to you. It is all good. Makai. Makai. Mahalo. There is a man here that is, I recognize him. I've actually seen him physically in one time. I saw him here in Honolulu at one time. He came and he did a ceremony, very special and rare Tibetan Buddhist ceremony, and he was known as the Karmapa Rinpoche. He did what's called the black hat ceremony, very rare. And we witnessed it as he did it. And we all got, some Shaktipat from that. And he's here with us. And he's seated. I see him seated. And he would be seated in a chair that would appear, if I were to put it anywhere in, this kind of geography would be where, I guess where Jill is, up there, he's up there. Like he was on another floor. And he is prepared to share with us what this is about. Apparently, I got a little inkling of it, but now I know more. This particular session is for our benefit, and it's people, I think there will be 3 of them, excuse me, who were very evolved in their own ways, each in a different way, in their own consciousness. And so what we're going to hear from them, or about them, if not directly, is how they saw life. What was their daily trip. We know what ours is, and it's something that helps us see what how does a saint spend their day, kind of thing. What do they think? What do they eat? How do they spend their spare time? Whatever. I think that's what this is about. So,
are they coming over for dinner?
What's that? Are they coming for dinner? Too late for that, it's you. So this man, I saw him in, I guess it was the year would have been 1976 here in Honolulu, and he did this thing. It's called a black hat ceremony. I hear it's only done once in a great while, but we were privileged to see him do it. He was doing it that year. So he's here, and I guess I'm just supposed to be quiet and listen to what he's got to say. Thought it was interesting. I felt to put this on. This is a very beautiful little Buddhist talisman that I don't always wear, but I just put it on right now real quick. I don't know why, but now I do. Because he's a Buddhist, and a very high Buddhist at that. He communicates to me that he observed the custom of drinking tea in the morning. It was always served to him. But he says there came a point toward the end of his life, I think the last 10 years, when he didn't want to do that. Because he felt, why should I take something when I have not given anything? Good point. So he stopped taking the tea. And they asked him why, wasn't he feeling good? And he said yes. And then he, for a while, didn't say anything, but eventually he said that very thing to his monks, the people attending him, and then they all stopped drinking tea until they had done something, to like earn it, you might say. And he said there came a point where he realized he was being a little too harsh on himself, because he would sit there and say, I am inhabiting this body, which is on loan to me. I am breathing air, which is on loan. I didn't provide any of it. I didn't provide the body. I didn't provide the air. Now they want to give me tea, which is not mine. What right do I have to take it?
Mm.
And he was questioning that, as Buddhists will do. They question everything. It's very wonderful that way. And he said at one point he realized that the only way he could make it right would be if he could cause his spirit to function through the body, and then he could give something, and then he would be justified in taking what his body really needed. He said a man's pack animal deserves to be fed, but even the food that is given to it has to be acquired somehow. The man has to see to it that can be acquired in some way. It takes some effort. So he would begin to chant and pray, and would do so until he felt he had earned something. And he says that, again, he realizes he may have been a little too harsh on himself. That's what they tell him now. But he says a part of him doesn't totally believe it, because those who tell him are very sweet beings who think he is very sweet and think he is sweeter than what he thinks he is. So he thinks they're just flattering him. And as a matter of fact, he thinks that there just might have been some truth in what his stance was. And he says he gave it deep thought, and that was one of the best things he thinks he came up with in his whole life. So he just comes and offers it to us all. And he leaves us with that thought, that realization, which I think is very interesting, to say the least. The third individual is the one I had been told I would be receiving about, and that is Padre Pio of Italy, who was a stigmatist and a mystic and a saint. Every morning he would awaken flat on his back with his arms like this. And at times, depending on if it was cold, his wounds would hurt. Not too much, just enough to remind him that they were there. And he would offer up the pain and was very clear or aware it was not his pain, though he seemed to be feeling it. He was grateful just to have that kind of proximity to the pain of Christ, because he realized that the pain of Christ was just as real now as it was when he hung on the cross, that it had really not diminished at all just because they had taken his body down from the cross. That it was the same. It was the same surrender that is necessary for there to be balance, a balance struck. And because there are so many so unaware, so unwilling to give, so selfish, that they are creating pain. They live in pain unto themselves and unto those around them. Then the least he could do was be part of the pain that the Christ was bearing on their behalf. You might say, to hold a balance for them who were unwilling to give anything or to feel any pain at all. And so that's what he experienced usually as soon as he became conscious that he was in his body again. He seems to get across to me that some nights we were very active and he would have the feeling of never having gone to sleep at all. His body, he would lay down like this, and then he would just go out of his body and go do work and do many, many things and come back into it and pick it up again. But the body had enough time to rest. So that was that. He remembers one morning, and it was not long after the stigmata had appeared on his body, about 5 years, and people were starting to come from many places to see him, and he was starting to feel, because he was young, that there was something very special about this. But at one point he thought, well, but somehow it is about me. I mean, I'm the one that it's happening to or through, and though I know it's the Christ that is doing this, it somehow must involve me. And he said on that he had that thought the night before, and thought it must be rather, like arrogant or vain, and still he had the thought. And the next morning he woke up, and a rat was in his cell and was chewing on his foot, and it was sharp pain. It was literally eating a bit of flesh, and he was, shocked by that. And then he realized immediately, because I thought I was so special, so does the rat, and now it wants to eat what is so special. So I don't think I am special at all. It's not of the flesh. It's not of the flesh at all. It's not of this flesh. And as soon as he thought that and really got it, the rat quit chewing on him and went away, without him even doing anything about it. And then he realized it is not of the flesh. Nothing. It's not of the flesh. It's all of the Spirit. Everything is of the Spirit. And the fact that it uses the flesh is just to the flesh's glory and benefit. He knew that it was just a matter of time before everybody would share in the same realization. And that was the last thought he had when he left his physical body. He was very happy because he knew that. He had that clear realization. And when he left the body, he was very joyous. The Master Jesus came to receive him, as did others, and he saw the Master and other beings, including Mother Mary, and he asked, "Where are your apostles?" And the Master said, "Most of them are in flesh, doing my work." And he became very happy. He said, "You mean they're back? They're in flesh?" And he said, "Yes." And he got very, very joyous. And then as he left the body, the Master said, "But now one more of them is here with me." And he realized it was him. He was one of them. We have been given this by the keeper of the records, and it's a gift, and now it's for us to share with other people as we see fit.